When you get to retirement and time to draw money out of your retirement account, you want to have tax diversification, but you got to build it along the way. I've got a real life planning scenario, that more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Tax diversification. Everyone knows about diversification with your investments. Don't have all your eggs in one basket. But tax diversification is, I'm not going to say just as important, but it's important to your overall financial plan, to your tax planning, and that is where you've got money that you've contributed pre-tax, it's growing tax sheltered, and then when you draw the money out, that's when you'll pay taxes. And you complement that with money that you've contributed after tax that's also growing tax sheltered that you can pull out tax free. So that's pre-tax and Roth. And then for some of you that maybe have filled up those buckets and contributed the maximum amount and still have extra dollars to save up, there's a third way that you can save up as well, and that is where there isn't a tax benefit on the way in, and then as you pull dollars out, maybe there's capital gains or some interest that you might be paying along the way, not tax sheltered. Now that's the third favorite way, third best way to invest. I'd fill up your tax shelters first, but if you still have extra dollars that you want to save up for your future, that non-tax sheltered approach, that non-qualified approach is what the geeks call it. That's the other option. Now, real life planning scenario that I'm going to walk you through that really shows the power of this tax diversification. All right, so married couple, he was a plant manager. He worked hard, high stress job, and worked a lot of hours. He made good money, not excessive, not like unbelievable, but in six figures, but worked hard and had that good income. And they were frugal. Not frugal because, no, we're not spending money, we're not doing these things. No, they just lived a simple life and were content. And so, therefore, not right away, but over time, he was maximizing all of his tax shelters. And they were contributing the maximum amount to the 401k, maximum amount to his Roth IRA, and there was still extra. And she had some health issues, so she would work part-time and then retired early. But because of his income and their frugal lifestyle, not only did they fill up the pre-tax pre-tax 401k, and then they maximized the Roth for each of them every year, they then also were able to squirrel away. Well, first, they were able to use extra dollars to pay down the mortgage early. And then by the late 50s, they were debt-free and they were using that cash to build up cash. Instead of invest extra dollars in a non-qualified account, they thought at retirement they would sell their house, they would move, and they wanted some extra cash just in case they to help with that transition. So they actually were saving and squirreling away a lot of cash, and they'd always had a good emergency fund. And gosh, by the time they were ready to retire, it was a couple $100,000 that they had saved up in cash, in addition to the, call it 1.4 or so that they'd built up in retirement accounts between the the 401k and the Roth IRA. So, all right, fast forward to just last year. He officially retired at 66, he's now 67. And we had talked about, hey, with all of your tax planning and the work that you've done to save up for retirement, you could afford to delay Social Security. And what that would do is allow that benefit to grow or to grow at 8% per year and give you the opportunity to do more creative tax planning until you turn on Social Security. Like many people, we lay out that math and make the case. And he ended up saying, I want to draw right away. And it was because of some health reasons and health reasons with his spouse. When he turned on his Social Security, his spouse got an increase in her Social Security. And so I could argue with it, that made sense. I get it. And so turning on Social Security. Now, because of their frugal lifestyle, turning on Social Security was really enough for them. They actually didn't need any additional income. That met all of their bills. And if they did have a more expensive month or wanted to do something, they could draw out of cash. Because this idea of the house move, part of the reason why they built up so much cash, They actually not planning on moving in the near term because houses are so expensive. Because of her health issues, they have a unique need, what they're looking for in a house, and those are at a premium right now. So they're content. Again, they might move in the future, but it's not an immediate concern. So therefore, this cash they are using if needed to help supplement Social Security. So you see the layout here. They've got about 1.1 in pre-tax 401k IRA now, okay? And then there's another 200 to 300,000 in Roth IRA that they can pull out tax-free, and then there's another 200 or so in cash that as they pull out, that's not taxable either. They're drawing Social Security. It's about $4 to $5 grand a month, and that's really all they need for their income. So let's talk about the power of tax diversification, specifically the Roth IRA. First tax strategy is he retired last year. So what that meant is they had earned income. He had earned income and enough earned income last year to allow both of them to contribute to a Roth IRA for their last year ever. So as we did their taxes this year, we confirmed the income was below the threshold, below the limit, married filing jointly. As long as the adjusted gross income is below $204,000, they're eligible to contribute to the Roth IRA as long as they've earned income, which they do. And so that's tax planning, tax strategy number one, is as we did this year's taxes, I said, I know you're retired and I know you're looking at, spending some of these dollars, but this is the last time ever, unless you go back to work, the last time ever you can push some of these dollars into a Roth IRA. And so let's maximize your contribution. Let's max your Roth IRA contribution for each of you for 2022, for last year. And he actually said, we've talked about it before, I don't really love the market right now. That's no problem. We can move it into to your Roth IRA, and instead of investing it in the market, invest it in something low risk. And then if your feelings change, which again, feelings when it comes to investing can sometimes fool you or lie to you. Oftentimes when it doesn't feel like a great time to invest, you look back on and that was a great time to invest. We'll see. But make that contribution to the Roth so that you've got extra dollars in there, and then you can invest them however you want in the future. So that's tax planning strategy number one. That's for last year. Now we're looking at this year in 2023 and beyond, and that is, well, what income are you going to have? The only taxable income they're going to have is Social Security, and then a little bit of interest on that $200,000. And if that's it, they're not going to pay any tax. Okay, so what we did, and I love that idea. But what we did is we projected out and we did two things. In our long-term retirement projections, and you can probably imagine this, if they've got enough Social Security right now to meet all of their needs, what are the odds over their lifetime that they're going to spend through this $1.4 million that they have saved up for retirement? Probably not high. It's possible. And we're encouraging them, do what you want to do. But her health stuff keeps them grounded. So they're not big travelers. Debt's paid off. They're not going to, move to an extravagant house. So odds are they're going to be leaving a chunk of this money to the kids. And therefore, we've got to pay attention to multi-generational tax planning. So that's the first analysis that we did. And then the second is building out that multi-year tax analysis, that multi-year tax projection to see what do we think your income and tax picture will look like for the foreseeable future. And you might say, you can't predict that. You don't know if tax rates are going to sunset or if tax rates will change. I know we don't. But we know what the rules are right now. And we can project out because we're looking and saying, well, we've got Social Security. We can project out what inflation might be and therefore how that Social Security might grow. We know that they're likely, not going to supplement their Social Security with IRA withdrawals or Roth IRA withdrawals. They're going to use the cash at least for the foreseeable future. But we also know, thanks to the Secure Act 2.0, that they've pushed the required minimum distribution age to 73. So therefore, from age 67, he turns this year, until 73, we can do Roth conversions. They would be in the 0% tax bracket this year and everything would be nice. But the projection showed that once he turns on required minimum distribution, and listen, you never turn that off, and it might go down a little bit, but you're hoping that it doesn't go down because each year the calculation means you need to take a little bit more out. And if your IRA balance grows over time, that RMD, you're stuck with it for the rest of your life and it's likely growing. And therefore, we looked and said, you could enjoy the 0% tax bracket, but then you're going to be in the 22% tax bracket for the rest of your life. And if they allow the current tax rates to sunset or they make changes, it could be even higher. So therefore, we laid out some analysis and said, if you started doing Roth conversions this year, and we did enough Roth conversions that yes, it's going to make your Social Security taxable, but we filled up the 12% tax bracket. And we chose to do enough Roth conversions to fill up the 12% tax bracket for the next 5 years. Then your required minimum distribution, and this is all just projecting out what will happen with the markets and all that sort of stuff, your required minimum distribution out there in the future 5 years from now likely will keep you in the 12% tax bracket. Fantastic. And this will mean you'll have more money in the Roth IRA. So if you guys don't live and don't spend all of this money and your kids inherit it, then it's more tax favorable to them. And then lastly, because of her health issues, if she happens to pass away early in retirement, they'll have used up this married filing jointly tax brackets, which are wider than single tax brackets. So guys, lots involved. That's tax planning. Tax preparation is taking last year's numbers, getting them in the right box, and seeing how it turned out. Tax planning is then looking at what opportunities exist for you to pay less tax over your lifetime. And oftentimes you're looking at those opportunities proactively. What can you do ahead of time to improve your tax situation and let you pay the least amount of tax over your lifetime? Hopefully this example helps you illustrate the need for tax diversification and the need for tax planning and financial planning. Work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP that's helping you with tax planning and all those areas, contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.